6 o'clock, call to order the monthly Port of Allyn meeting. We'll start with the flag salute. Hey, Ted.
Hello.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight on our agenda, we have consent agenda items, the regular meeting minutes of February 4th, the all ports meeting minutes of January 17th.
I make a motion to accept regular meeting minutes, February 4th, and all ports meeting minutes, January 17th.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Second action item, A, B, and C, payment of general fund vouchers, payment of payroll vouchers, payment of water fund vouchers.
Chairman, I move to accept the general fund vouchers, $7,133.10. Payroll vouchers, $14,737.86. Water fund vouchers, $835.68.
Motion on the
Ted
floor.
Jackson, seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We now are to commissioner reports. Commissioner Scott, would you like to start?
Sure. See if I can find it here. I'm working on it. Of course, did the February 4th regular port meeting. February 6th, Bonnie Knight and I went down to the Heritage Caucus, and it was fortuitous because we saw Trevor and Brianna, our lobbyists down there, and Bonnie explained the grants and the capital funding that were not in conflict, as she had spoken with Lisa, and I can't remember Lisa's last name, anyway, and she clarified to them about the match requirements for the Heritage Grant, and that North Bay has been met, and if there's more questions, Bonnie could explain. February 6th had an Oyster House North Bay historical meeting for the fundraiser, and we're getting lots of donations for the auctions. Hope to see you April 6th. And February 20th, another North Bay Historical Society meeting, and I'd like to make a note that Bill Dewey of Taylor Shellfish has written a lot of letters of support to all of our our representatives, and to Senator Sheldon, and I'm greatly appreciated him doing that. February 25th, North Mason Community Voice. Great Bend Music Director Matthew Melendez came and spoke, and it was a really great presentation, and I want to thank Dana Campa for doing such a great article on him, and they got invited to go sing at Carnegie Hall in New York, and they're doing a fundraiser. I got to plug that because they really did a great job. The fundraiser is March 23rd. It's a dinner, a gala that is Great Gatsby theme. So I'd like to encourage everybody to go to that. And next month, for the North Mason Community Voice, we hope to have Abe Gardner of the Mason County Health Department, and he's going to talk on the opioid epidemic and the programs that have been there to help alleviate it or fix that.
No gas for 2018.
Yes, that's wonderful. And then the 28th, I did a PRTPO TAC meeting, which is Peninsula Regional Transportation Planning Organization, and I have handouts with the agenda on it. And I just want to give a note, just for refreshment, there is a unified planning work program in the packet.
Yes.
That kind of gives you
Wonderful.
a synopsis of. And then the 28th, I did a PRTPO TAC meeting.
It really kind of
Peninsula
helps
Regional Transportation
explain it
Planning
better.
Organization. And I we're have still trying to handouts, transition to the new administrative agency, of which I think will be Kitsap County. So that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Ted, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay, mine will be short. I went to the regular port meeting here at for Port of Allyn. I went to the Allports meeting, which, the minutes reflect this, but we're gonna try to have that group meet, quarterly, and the next meeting will be in Shelton. So, of course, the public will be invited. And Shelton's going to host and, yeah. Then I went to the annual luncheon for the EDC. Larry and I went to that, and besides a lot of good networking, we learned a little bit about cross-laminated timber, which was, doesn't sound very interesting, but it actually was pretty interesting. They're changing some building codes, and they're allowing the construction to go to a higher height limit than they have in the past, and they're looking, there's only a couple in the country right now, and they're looking to add a location in Shelton, so provide jobs and, yeah, some income.
Great.
That was it for me. Ted?
All right, first off, I apologize for not being there, but this training is very sought after, and I appreciate coming down here for it. But the only thing I've done is worked on the criminalization rules. Executive director provided me all the past emails, and I'm trying to put something together so the executive director and I can go down, and it'll probably be one of those where I ask all the port commissioners, even surrounding port commissioners, to go down in front of the county commissioners and reapproach it to see if we get these things codified. But that's my report.
Thanks, Ted. Security officers report. Travis, thanks for being here.
Yeah. Travis Merrill, Board of Allen Security. Didn't get my report into you guys in time, I don't think, for the packets, but there wasn't much to say. We had a pretty extreme snow event that limited my exposure to the North Shore during that. I believe, Scott, you checked it out a couple of times.
I did, yes.
During that time. And we've caught up, I believe, with most of our payers, but one of them was supposed to leave come Monday. I didn't see him leave.
Out there, or
Yeah, the one out here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
So, yeah, Larry's got more insight into that. But it's been pretty quiet, being the cold months, not a lot of people down here. Every now and then I got to scare a few out at night, but everything's been good.
Great.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Travis.
Travis.
Thanks, Joe.
Executive Director's report.
All right, water system issues. I've calculated the proposed new water rates on the 5-year schedule you all asked for at the recent special meeting. Both the updated proposed
Thanks,
rates
Travis.
and a possible public hearing are on the agenda for discussion. As part of that, I need to put together the wording for accomplishing this via an amendment to the policies and procedures. I spoke to Doug Peel at Northwest Water Systems. He said we do not need state approval to do this, only for you all to adopt the new rates changes to the policies and procedures manual and do it in a public meeting. Also, we have issued water availability letters to 415 lots situated between Wheelwright and Blackwell Streets to Cedarland Homes. I don't know if a decision has been made by the developer, if these will be single-family homes or duplexes. If they are duplexes, it would mean 30 hookup fees for us. If they're single-family homes, only 15. But it'd be 15 new customers. Yarrick Community Utilities proposals we've discussed previously. We've had some informal discussion with Yarrick Community Utilities to purchase their water system, which is adjacent to ours. After discussing this with Mr. Carey, we've decided the best path to begin moving forward is to have the system appraised, so I will find an appraiser this coming week. There's also money available from the state to do acquisitions that will combine small water systems. I asked Doug Peel where to look for that, and he gave me a couple of potential leads as well as some names to contact. Property purchase. As reported previously, state law requires we pay fair market value, which would be determined by a licensed appraiser. We received the appraisal back this past week, but it isn't anywhere near what the asking price was. So now we'll have to enter into negotiations with the seller and see where it goes. In the meantime, I'm ready to do the final grant presentation to RCO. The original presentation was canceled due to the snow. Got a notice late Friday that the presentations have been rescheduled for the end of this month. Ours is at 11:15 on the 27th. If we do get the grant, it will fund in August. However, we may have to front the purchase price and be reimbursed from the grant. Dock issues. As I reported earlier, during the January windstorm, we suffered some serious damage to the floating dock portion of the gangway. Some of the flotation is separated from the deck surface, and it appears that some of the support beams may have been seriously damaged as well. I contacted Endurus. They sent an adjuster out to inspect the damage, but we've insisted they get a diver to look under the surface, as we suspect there may be more damage under the water than what's visible from the surface. The diver is scheduled to be here at 10 on Friday morning. In the meantime, we've closed the dock at the gangway until the damage is repaired. We've taken photos to document everything as well. I previously reported we had a small electrical fire on the dock. While there wasn't any major damage, we do have to repair the fire damage and replace all the flexible liquid-tight conduit and wiring. While we're at it, according to National Electric Code, we need to upgrade the receptacles on the dock to ground fault circuit interrupters as well. Contacted a number of local electrical contractors to give us a price on doing the work, but no one was interested in getting under the dock to do it. We ended up with a singular bid from a marine electrical contractor from Tacoma that was in excess of $14,000. We recontacted some local firms, and Mason County Electric, which has done work for us previously, submitted a bid this morning for around $3,500. However, it didn't cover everything we need done, so I contacted them and asked them to resubmit it. I expect it'll add about $1,000 to the cost. And after talking to the Endurus adjuster, she seems to be of the mind this is covered, which is a change from Endurus's original response. Parking at the North Shore, I've submitted the permit application to the county, and they called me late this afternoon to say it's been approved and is ready for pickup. They also said we can use 12-inch culverts instead of the 18-inch ones, which will save us some money. We have a bid from Zephyrs for $71.62 to remove the old culvert, install 2 new 18-inch culverts, grade the lot after the trees are cut, and bring in some rock. Earl Iddings agreed to take down the trees on the perimeter of the cleared area in exchange for the wood, but there may be a legal issue with that. We may have to put this out to bid, or at least contact people on the MRSC Small Works roster. I'm still working on that. The only other cost I can see will be a couple of $100 for signage, directing boaters where to park and establishing the ingress and egress pattern. Part of the permit is we have to put a stop sign in place. I originally guesstimated this project would cost around $7,500, so except for the tree cutting issue, we're right in the ballpark. This is a small project with big benefits, not just for the port, but the community in terms of easier access to parking, more parking, and especially safety considerations. As soon as the permit is issued, we can get started. Or as soon as we resolve the tree issue, actually. 3D building acquisition. I reported previously the 3D building on Highway 3 that WashDOT used for offices during the widening project is for sale. I inquired about a governmental transfer, as I think this would make an ideal co-working facility, as it's already laid out for something similar. WashDOT said they couldn't do it unless we had some kind of transportation-related use in mind for it. So I contacted all our legislatures, as I was sure there's some way to make this happen. Representative Griffey and Senator Sheldon were working on it for us. Heard back from Senator Sheldon, and he said WashDOT isn't being very cooperative, so we'll have to see what happens. If we want it, we may be able to buy it in a bid situation, according to Senator Sheldon, but at this point I'm not too optimistic about acquiring it for free. Also found out that North Mason Resources was interested in it, so I spoke with Jason Elazar about it. He said they'd be happy to work with us on it, perhaps as tenants. I mentioned this to Dan Griffey and Tim Sheldon as well, so we'll just have to wait and see what, if anything, happens. Derelict vessels. We have unfortunately been forced to deal with a couple of derelict vessels. We've had one tied up on our dock here in Allyn for several months. We've had infrequent contact with the owner, who's paid some of the past due moorage, but not all of it. We'd posted the boat and then chained it. We'd also sent him a text because he doesn't answer his phone. We have no other way to contact him last week. outlined his legal options and gave him till Friday at 4 p.m. to either come in and pay or surrender the title so we could sell the boat. We told him that failing that, we would take possession under the derelict vessel statute. I gave him one last call to ask what his intentions were and got his girlfriend. She came in and paid his back mortgage and said he'd get it off the dock by this morning. But we didn't get it unchained until late Saturday, so I'll give him another day or so to get it gone. Out on the North Shore, we have one on-again, off-again customer who owes us for several months as well. He's one of these guys who's always run up a bill but paid us. Only this time he didn't. His mother came in and gave us $100 towards his bill and says he's put the boat up for sale and will pay us out of the proceeds. She said she'll make sure it happens. In the meantime, we have it chained to the dock. Finally, after months of trying to get the owner of the scamper to come and pump it out before it sank, she had someone out here on Friday. She's supposed to move it 5 nautical miles from here, but we need someone, DNR or the sheriff, to enforce that. Until then, I guess we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Totem pole issue, nothing new to report. We've had so much else going on. This has slid to the back burner, so we'll need to coordinate this with the fellow Commissioner Cooper knows to do the restoration and with Mr. Kelsey and his boom truck to move forward. WPPA and other meeting schedules. WPPA spring meeting is May 15th to 17th at the Davenport Hotel in Spokane. WPPA Finance Seminar is June 12th to 14th at Alderbrook, and the annual Commissioner Seminar will be July 22nd to 24th at Suncadia. Executive Director Seminar is July 11 and 12 at Skamania Lodge, and the Environmental Seminar September 26th and 27th at Campbell's Lodge in Chelan. As these get closer, we'll ask for commitments about attendance so we can make reservations. So I can go into old business if you would like.
I have a question on derelict vessels.
Certainly.
Who told them they had to move it 5 miles? Coast Guard?
I think it was DNR, but
DNR.
I'm not
The sheriff
I'm
came
not
and
certain.
talked to me. I mean, not the sheriff, but one of the officers came in, and he said same thing, 5 nautical miles.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Is that who we can get to enforce that? Or just call her and say the sheriff wants you to move it 5 miles out?
Well, she knows. I mean, we were calling her weekly, saying you really need to get somebody to pump this thing out before it sinks.
DNR was too.
And yeah, she's always got some excuse, and so finally I just told her, you know, that the thing was going to sink in 4 or 5 days if she didn't get it pumped out. And miracle of miracles, she got it done.
That was my only question. Thank you.
So,
Old business?
all right, transient mort expansion project. Been waiting for a letter from the Squaxin tribe signing off on the archaeological survey we were forced to do so we could get this out to bid. That survey was completed November 21st and no artifacts were found. I received a draft report on December 21st and approved it. Consultant forwarded it to the Squaxin tribe and they sent an email approving it as well. But the Department of Commerce and the Department of Archaeological and Historic Preservation wanted a letter from them. After a month of asking for the letter, the tribe said the email was sufficient, and I cleared that with the Department of Commerce. Commerce also wanted us to name them as an additional insured on our insurance policy. Somehow this got confused at Honduras with the insurance claim for the dock, but we got it resolved this afternoon. And I forwarded the paperwork from Honduras to our contact at Commerce. Now they can process our final paperwork and we can get this out to bid as well as get reimbursed for our expenses up to this point. Sweetwater Park, not much to report on this. Dr. Peterson is in the process of removing the structures and other debris from his property there. Spoke with Mindy Harlow about the idea of putting a sign out there saying future home of Sweetwater Park, a joint project of the Port of Allyn and the Salmon Center. She liked the idea, so I'm looking into the cost, which we would split with them. Still trying to get a bid on some fencing for the property, but I can't seem to get anybody to call me back because we're all so busy. Ken Van Buskirk sent me an email this morning requesting permission to go onto the property and document what is there. I told him that although the transfer paperwork has been signed, that we haven't received the deed or had it recorded, and our insurer has instructed us not to allow anyone on the property at the current time. Oyster House, hasn't been much movement on this since the last meeting. The lobbyists are emailing us weekly reports, which I'm passing on to each of you. But that's about all that's happening right now on the funding front. We did round up some letters of support for the project and sent them to the lobbyists to pass them on to the appropriate legislators. I did deliver a bid package to one builder that requested it, but I think this is a project he'll probably decline to pursue. I did get a call from Senator Christine Rolfes, who's the chair of Senate Ways and Means, confirming that we had the support of our 35th district legislators for our capital budget request. I think that was a good sign. Criminalization of marina rules. After the all ports meeting, Sheriff Salisbury came in the next day to talk to me for 3 hours. Says he understands the issue. Nothing new's happened, although Commissioner Jackson is working on it. And the next Kitsap All Ports meeting is April 29th.
That doesn't conflict with any of those seminars, does it?
No, it does not.
We're in May, good.
Does not. That's my report.
For the Oyster House, we were gonna get that project listed on the SEDS list for.
Yeah, I forgot to put that in here, but yeah,
That's news though.
yeah. I've got all the paperwork for it, and I'll be doing that tomorrow.
Awesome. Under old business, you had board retreat as the added agenda item.
Right. I would recommend doing that at either the annual meeting in Spokane or the Commissioner Seminar in Suncadia. You all are going to be there, you know, just being overnight for Leanne and I to go. But I just think that makes the most sense, doing it at one of those two places. So.
Yeah, I would agree.
Ted, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm just wondering, is the Spokane meeting too quick to get it organized?
Yeah, is that in May?
Yes.
Yes, I would agree with that. When you were suggesting the retreat, what did you have in mind? Because I had something local in mind, but traveling is not, you know, too far out of the stretch of being a retreat.
Right. Well, I mean, are you talking about content? Is just pretty much, we got some projects that we've been working on, projects that aren't, that we've been talking about, and just kind of, as the commissioners and as the port, just trying to figure out what we can do to either expedite these or fine tune them or what we ever need to do. I mean, that's what I'm looking at as a retreat, just kind of going over everything. And as a new port commissioner, just trying to learn more.
Kind of an all-day thing for current projects. Gotcha.
And something else too, we might look at our comprehensive scheme, you know, what we might want to update and what we're gonna have finished, and
next year.
you know, the status of the projects that we have there too might be a good thing to revisit.
Great.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's anything in our policy procedures manual that needs to be updated, any of that stuff that we can address. And
Yeah, it's time to update some things. We've got to update things on credit card security. Probably ought to take a look at personnel policies again because some of the laws have changed. But you know, there's plenty to talk about for sure.
yeah, and just like when I call in tonight, I don't know if we have a policy about, or some language about a commissioner calling in, but it'd be, you know, whether or not we have a secret code that I give to just verify who I am instead of somebody just calling in.
Yeah, we do. It's your Visa card number and
Social Security.
Social security number and birthday.
yeah.
So we're looking at the commissioner seminar in July 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Is that something you think would work for us?
I hope so. I think that'd be great. I've looked at all the dates and hopefully that'll work.
Yeah, I have to double check my dates, but I don't know that that's.
I mean,
If nothing
me,
else,
Spokane would
mileage
be
would
great
be,
since we're all
for
gonna
us,
be
would
there,
be
but
the least.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
it's just making sure we get everything that we want to put on the agenda on there before Spokane.
No, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, the mileage would be the least cost going there rather than go to Spokane. Going to Spokane would be twice as much.
That's the one in June, you mean?
Yeah.
May.
May.
Or
May.
June is, well, June's at the Alderbrook, the finance
So May.
seminar. And, yeah, May's
So-
the Davenport.
So when did you want, you said May was too early?
Ted did, but I was agreeing that May's pretty quick, but plus to have them come all that way for
Yeah.
one night, I think Suncadia is a better choice. I'm not sure about, I know I have some vacation in July.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
can't
say
tell
it
you the
might be.
dates, but,
Are we gonna go to the finance, seminar in Alderbrook?
well, I like to go to the finance seminar, so I would go, but,
Yeah, I was gonna go.
Yeah, I wanted to go to
Yeah.
that. What do you think, Ted?
Finance
Well,
seminar?
if we were to do that, I don't know if the feasibility of just, if you're gonna stay there or just commute back and forth to Alderbrook. But, for the retreat, if we could reserve a room there at Alderbrook, or a meeting space there at Alderbrook, that'd be great during that time also.
I can look at Alderbrook too. I can look at the, I've got some contacts there for, and they give pretty good governmental discounts, and if you're staying or if you, include food or, so I can look at that one as well. And maybe next month
Okay.
we could kind of pin down which conference or what we want to do.
Sounds great.
Okay, thank you.
I would prefer June.
I guess we got that off the agenda.
All right, so, new business.
All right, what do we have on there?
Water system?
Water system
Water
rates.
system. Okay, I've sent you all the water system recommendation.
Get to that.
I
Did read it.
worked this out 5 years. And what we have is basically, what I proposed here is a rate increase, not anywhere near what we had talked about previously, to be effective June 1st. Another one to be effective January 1st, that's just slightly more, and then one annually. The annual ones just increase $5 a month, basically, and the usage fee's 50 cents.
How much was the usage fee?
And I've put together what they are. If you look here towards the bottom of this, you can see, what the rates that we're proposing are, what they would bring in monthly and annually, and what the totals would be. And then I got a little profit and loss about them, where we are. We don't start to break even until year 4, but even in year 5, if we amortize the water system plan, we're still losing money. So, but on the other hand, if we get new customers, it throws all these numbers off.
Yeah.
So, and we're anticipating getting some. So, I would think that, what I proposed here is it's reasonable from a customer standpoint, especially considering what surrounding systems do. And, the methodology that we had used previously, where we compared what we charge to what other systems charge, really isn't a very good way to set our rates, because our costs are our costs, and we need to be able to, pay our obligations, and the system should be an enterprise fund that can stand on its own. So comparing it to what other systems charge is kind of a flawed method of how to go about this, I think.
If I could jump in real quick, I'm sorry if I interrupted.
No, you're good.
No, go ahead.
Even though this training is very good, I've read this 3 times, and I really appreciate the way you laid it out, Larry. It looks very good. And when I got done reading it the 3rd time, I agree with your recommendation. It doesn't, and I agree with you saying it's not fair to compare our system to other systems. Our system has to operate on its own, and And so that's something that from the previous meeting when we discussed this, that's something that didn't kick into my head. So I agree with your recommendation. I think it's not going to be overly burdensome, but I think when the folks that use the water system can understand that this is what has to be done. So
We've only had one rate increase in 12 years.
Yeah, that's true.
right, I saw that. I read that.
I can't find it. I had a couple questions, but one was, so the rate increase for next year would, or this year would be July 1st, December 31st. That would be
Right.
2 rate increases. Next year
Yes,
it
it
would be,
And then they
January
just
1st.
annual after that.
and then so it would be like 2019, there would be 2 rate
This
increases.
is 2019, yeah.
Well, but
Two
there's gonna
rate
be one
increases.
July 1st and then one December 31st. Will
Right.
there be one January 1st?
January 1st, 2020, and January 1st every year after.
So where does the December 31st one, is it December 31st and January 1st?
No,
Okay.
no.
That was one question. Another question is,
No, we just have July 1st and
And then
January
January
1st, yeah.
okay.
Or
And then,
June 1st, I
so
think.
then for the next 4 years, it's one increase a year.
Yeah, and in the consumption, it's 50 cents each year it goes up each.
Gotcha. There was a mention of fire flow, and I don't know this to be fact, but I don't believe that you meter fire flow. So if you have a FDC or sprinkler connection, that it requires a surcharge. So Belper Water, they can give me a list of every water customer that has a fire system, a sprinkler system, and they just charge a surcharge. They don't meter that.
Okay. Well, that's something for us to look at.
Yeah. So
You know, the other thing that I did was I said we should increase the hookup fees by $1,000 and the administrative fees by 3% from 12 to 15%. But the one thing that I think I would like to see, and I had talked to a number of developers about this, excuse me, and talked with Northwest Water System about could we actually legally do this. The way that expanding the system works now, we do all the work. You know, we do the tap and supply the pipe and, you know, dig the ditch and put the meter in the ground, you know, do everything. And we charge time and material plus 12% or 15% if it goes up. Because we have to do this work at prevailing wage, we could allow a developer to do it, which would save them a lot of money, and I think make it easier for us to attract more development. Let them do everything, do it to our standards. You know, we'd have to have it inspected, be sure that, you know, we'll have to come up with a set of standards, this kind of pipe, you know, this thickness, you know, that sort of thing. But let them do it and then just charge them an additional $1,500 for residential and $2,000 for commercial connection. They're still gonna save money because, you know, they don't necessarily have to do it at prevailing wage.
So that would be my question.
What we have to do, the tap to the line. You know, they can put the lines in, they can do everything else. We have to do the tap to the line and we have to pay prevailing wage to do that. But that's, you know, a 2-hour job.
Yeah, I guess is it a port project or is it a developer project? And is it a public works contract or is it a contract between the developer and the
Well,
customers?
doing the tap into our line, you know, bringing their line to our line, that's something that's a public work project. But that's the extent of the public work project.
Who answered that?
Northwest Water System.
Okay, good enough.
So.
Jeff?
I have a couple of questions. With respect to, you know, you have the rate on commercial versus residential. So duplexes and triplexes, those still stay as residential, if I understand that correctly. But like, if somebody sets up a group home or, you know, assisted living, does that become commercial then? When you
yes.
Yeah, I would think so.
So group homes, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that kind of stuff would be commercial.
Okay, but duplexes, triplexes would not be?
That's residential.
Okay, and the other question is, and it has a few areas flat of Allyn. This question comes from that. The port can't obviously do latecomers because that's why the
Right.
No, we can't.
discussion we've been having. So say we do something and we put a line down the street. Okay, there's basically 10 lots, on both sides of a block. Say we have, 8 of them. So finally, we have a connection fee, we put the whole thing in. Does this allow, I realize that we can't create a latecomers agreement with the port, but can we separately?
I need to get a legal clarification on that. I'm not really sure. I thought about that as well, because we didn't put the line in.
Yeah,
Can a developer do that? And I've got to call into the lawyer, and I'm waiting to hear back.
right, and if you can't, would the port allow at least us to negotiate with the adjacent property owners to at least have it on file, report to the title of the property? Like some I've talked to, they have no problem with that as long as they're not paying today. They pay when, the point in time it comes to connect up. So there's a couple options within that, but those would be concerns I'd have for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Yeah.
Based upon our various discussions, informal discussions.
I've read this, not 3 times, but I'm pretty, I'd like to read it maybe a couple more times. I would be willing to set a date for a public hearing on it, unless you guys feel we need to meet separately from this meeting to really dig into this, but I think Larry's done a great job and he's met the requirements that we've asked him to do, spread it out over
I do too.
5 years. I just, I'd like to look at it again, but I think we are able to move forward with it, if you agree.
Yeah, and maybe have a
I,
public hearing.
Ted?
Go ahead.
yes, I also agree. I'm sorry, Judy, to interrupt, but yes, I agree we can move it forward to a public hearing.
Yeah, you could do a public hearing at your next meeting.
Yeah, okay. Did we want to do any, did we want to make sure that the customers knew about the rate increase?
I will send a letter to everybody, and I'll send out a press release,
Okay.
and,
Okay.
make sure that we get it
Yeah,
out
I just want to
there.
make sure that
Put it on our Facebook page, put it on the
people are
website.
notified, and
Yeah.
public hearing will be to discuss rate increases for our water system.
No,
Yeah.
we'll make an effort to make everybody aware, kind of like we did when we did the comprehensive scheme, the big survey there.
Thanks for
we put
your
it-
work on this, Larry. It's really, really
Yeah,
good job.
Very nice job.
Yes, thank you.
All right, moving on. We did discuss the staff retreat, so if there's no more discussion for that, I don't have any. The next item on the agenda is North Bay Historical Society proposed Oyster House funding plan.
Yeah, we were gonna have a special meeting to decide
Yeah,
that.
and snow happened,
Yeah.
so do we need to schedule a special meeting
I think we
this
do.
month? And then,
Yeah,
besides this week, I'm pretty open the rest of the month.
okay.
Ted, we want to schedule the meeting that we were supposed to have last month, but because of the weather, we postponed it, and it's regarding the funding plan for the Sergeant Oyster House from
Okay.
North Bay Historical Society, and I imagine it would be 1.5 to 2 hours.
Yeah, probably.
All right,
One
after this week, I'm good.
Okay, I'm open.
After this week, besides, second Monday, second and third Tuesdays. Thursdays are usually fairly open for me.
Okay, the week of the, I'm gone the 11th, 12th. I'm not able to do that at night.
I have the 14th, the Thursday open. There's an Oyster House meeting on the 13th, which you'll be gone, but, so I won't
Are
be.
you open the 14th?
Yeah,
It's a Thursday.
I believe the 14th, that's the, yeah, that would work out good, because we already
Okay.
got,
How about Ted?
Ted, would the 14th, Thursday the 14th work for you?
Yes, it will.
6
Yep.
o'clock?
Sounds good, yep.
Okay, we'll see you then.
So 6 PM, the 14th, here,
Yes.
Sergeant Oyster House funding.
Can't believe it's gonna be the 14th. Now we are to public comment. Jeff?
Two different things. First, personally, as Jeff Carey, both will be Jeff Carey, but different roles. On the TIPCAP meeting, we were originally going to have that at the end of March, but as I think Jack's been in touch with you, that with all the different schedules happening and all the snow and all those different things and people's time, it's gotten pushed off into, looks like May. So I'll apprise the board, the commission here, once I know what it is, when it is. But we're probably only going to have one, but it's probably going to be the North Mason one just because of all the different things that are happening, different projects and what have you. So anyway, short and sweet, it's been delayed, and we'll come up with a new schedule.
North Mason Community Voice, I think we're tentatively scheduled on the 27th of May for TIPCAP,
Okay?
I hope.
Then we'll discuss that at that end, and
Okay.
see, sounds good to me.
All right.
Second thing, Jeff Carey is president of Uric Community Utilities. In our informal discussions between Larry and I've also requested that there's so many iterations on how this can work or not work, and the costs go from developers from one number to quite a bit. I mean, like, a third of $1 million more for 25 homes. So we've discussed a number of different issues, and I've looked at the water system plan your water system in pretty detailed, and I requested that at some point here we have a meeting with the engineer, your water systems engineer, and what have you, and whoever else, Larry deems necessary to have, so that we can go down through it, because there's conditions, for example, dealing with, like with the booster, where there's a zone at about 140 feet in elevation where everything above that's boosterized and everything below it's not. And we have a number of properties on our water system that are above 140 feet. And so it's just, how we're going to work that, how can it work? Does this all work out for all the different things both parties are trying to do? So it's not just a simple, I want your water system, away we go.
Sure. Right.
In many ways, washing water is much easier because you guys are at the same elevation with the pumps and stuff. So it's a lot easier. But anyway, that's where it is. But I just share that, I didn't think it would be in the minutes, but I just wanted, or the report that the executive director gave, but I wanted to let the board know that that is also something that's in discussion that we really need to figure out to make it work for both parties. So that's it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Only thing I think is the opiate meeting this month is on the 13th at 9 a.m. at Alderbrook.
Oh.
And anyone's invited to come. Probably will be downstairs. I haven't talked to Bo, so I don't know. Maybe you know. Scott, has he mentioned?
No.
So Bo's
Anyway,
going to host that?
The larger rooms are downstairs.
Is Bo going to host that one?
He usually hosts all of them.
Okay.
The last one is at the corrections facility in Shelton, which we toured. Just a small group stayed for the tour, but it was very good.
What was that date again?
13.
March
9 a.m.
13th.
Alderbrook.
But
Dana?
like I said earlier,
Any public
in
comment?
2018, we did not have any deaths reported in North Mason area. So,
And is that directly because of the programs?
yeah,
That's great.
it's with all the first responders, et
Mhm.
cetera, people in the medical field all working together. And we're now working with the prisons on the problems they have.
wonderful.
It's just branching out and getting bigger and bigger. More and more people are joining.
Great, thank you, Kay.
One item for good to the order, last Saturday was the Chamber Gala, and Bo
Oh.
did get Citizen of the Year for his work on the opioid crisis, and
Oh, great.
yeah, congratulations to him for all that hard work.
Yeah,
There are a lot
congratulations.
of hardworking people.
There is.
Yeah.
I'm in the
Well, and
group,
that's-
but I'm not the.
First thing
a
he
lot of
says
them
was
do a lot more
he's,
than me.
you know, a lot of good people working on this issue, so he didn't want to take the credit at all, but
Well, I can see why,
Yeah.
because we've really brought in a lot of people from different areas.
absolutely.
I've got a lady that works over in Gig Harbor in the medical field, met her on a cruise, and she is hoping to come this week.
Good.
This week. So it's branching out, because they want to learn what we have done and all the progress we've made in 2.5 years, so.
That's wonderful.
Well, if there's no other,
I got one.
go ahead.
On a personal note, Monday would be 4 years that I have been
Wow.
employed here, so I just wanted to thank you all
Boy.
for hiring me.
Thank you.
It's gone quick, at least for me.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you for
congratulations.
taking us.
And good job, Larry. Thank you. Yeah, speaking of the gala, the member of the year was Mary Hinkle.
Yes.
And I work, well, she's my
She-
massage
she-
lady.
She
and-
works with you?
Yeah, she works on me, and great lady, so
Yeah.
congratulations
Yeah,
to
that's
her.
awesome. Yeah. All right, I would
Thank you.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Great, yes.
Okay, good night, Ted.
All right, have a safe drive home. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Ted.